Welcome back to another episode of the TheLeadLeague podcast. Now, in the spirit of taking accountability, we are taking accountability that we have been slacking recently with content. Life has just been life, and there's just no excuse. Life is life. But listen, we're back here, back now, and we're aiming to please and put out as much content as we can. So I think last time we met was like January, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure, because it's March already.
July.
It is January. It is January. It is January. But if you haven't, remember, if you don't know what we're here, what we do, again, we're just the TheLeadLeague. We stand for Ladies Empowering all around development. So every single development in our life financially.
Ladies experience.
Ladies experience. Thank you. I knew someone said we experience to empower. We experience to empower in all around, school, academically, financially, spiritually, business, every single area of our lives. And we can follow us on our Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. We have a link tree, so we're all accessible on our TikTok as well. And we do different events during the year, like minor ones, major ones. We had a brunch 2 years ago. Yeah. Last year we had a vision board party for 2025. So we have different stuff. So all available on Eventbrite and our Instagram to show. So stay tuned for that and follow up so that you never miss. So how has our week? I'm going to do a general recap before we go into introductions, because this introduction is a special introduction. But before we start, just how's everyone been?
How have you been?
To the episode.
Myself?
Yeah.
Oh. Good, I suppose. Ups and downs, but generally stays even is the goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
How have I been? Well, life has been kicking me sometimes, but we're living, working, trying to get this money up. It's not easy. What else? My course as well, that's going well. I'm almost finished. So thank God. What else? Oh my gosh, tennis has been going so well. I don't know if I talked about tennis on this, but I'm not in the improvers, so I'm not in the beginners anymore. Guys, LA 2028. That's what we're trying to do. So yeah, that's basically me. I'm just focusing on, my goals for the year, and hopefully by the end of the year I'll succeed in that.
Yeah.
Yourself?
Life is life, and I feel like I'm learning how to balance everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in a stage in my life where I'm just trying to balance everything. But life is good. It's good. What about you?
That's good. I say life is always life, and just trying to balance. I feel like I have so much of myself spread out in different places. I'm just trying to gain time for myself more, but be intentional with the time per se. But as I said, time will tell eventually. It's just about being organized. So if you've got it already, Faith, I'm Blessing, Naomi, and then if you see this lovely, beautiful lady in the green, let me do a brief introduction. She can do her own introduction. This woman is a woman. She's a woman. In the month of International Women's Month, she is everything a woman stands for. Glory. She is a woman she's a person of strength, a person of leadership. She is a role model to so many, myself included. She's educated. She's a businesswoman. She's a mother. She's a wife. She everything. But just not for what she does, but for who she is, the kind of person she is it's just a very a pure soul indeed. So I introduce no other than the elite and esteemed Mary Emekobum as I guess.
Thank you.
So we have.
What are you Guys, don't mind Naomi. She's on the laughing spell today. But before we go in, I really wanted Sister Mary to be on our podcast. Really, really. I was pushing for it, and I grew up with Sister Mary as a big sister, and growing up with her, and I always looked up to her because when someone is a woman.
Sorry, continue.
Stop it.
Did you say don't cry? She's always in spaces I'm like, wow, a woman can actually be in that space. Definitely. And she's always excelling in those spaces as well. I just wanted to just give you a little praise because I don't know if you get it a lot, but just know that your little sisters are looking out for you, and we do see what you're doing. Mainly, I personally mainly see her like in the church space, and seeing her work with God and all is very enlightening, as well, and it's so motivational. For my own self in my walk with God, and then seeing all the roles that she takes up, and in every single role that she takes up as well, she does it so well. So I just want to give you a praise for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for being an amazing role model. And I feel like you're the perfect person to talk to about, this International Women's Month. Just the highlights. Someone that, some people might not see you doing all the work that you do. But, just to give you a little highlights.
Thank you.
And spotlight.
I hope I don't let you guys down.
No.
Without this accolades that I'm being given, I just hope that I'm living up to it. Is what I hope.
So introduce yourself. So what do you do, and who are you?
Gosh, I'm just a girl.
It's true.
I just have to start from there. I'm just a girl. I know they say I'm a woman. Sometimes I don't even see myself as. I like to say I'm still a lady. Because when you say woman, it's like, you're big, you're up there. You've attained the age of, now that you're being called a woman. But I will still just say I'm just a girl learning, growing intentionally. Actually, I must put it that way. I was not always like this, right? I was not always out there. I know it's very even difficult for people to understand that I'm even shy, right?
Sure.
Yes. See that saying shy. But yes, I'm Mary, who at a point just had to figure out our own person, our own life, our own space actually. So just getting comfortable with who I am and who I've been created to be. So that's just me.
And how did you start the journey of figuring out who you are?
Okay, so I would say that I've always been a weird one, and some would still say I'm weird.
In what context?
Okay, so I was in college one day. I was sitting in a room studying. This other African girl walks into the room, and I smiled, and just acknowledging the presence of somebody else in the room. And I smiled and I said, "I." And she said, "Oh wow, she smiles." And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, I always thought you were a bicho. Sorry for the word, and I was like, what? She said, "'Cause you don't really gel, you don't really stay in places where people are just, laughing or stuff like that. I always just thought you were like a serious, stuck up person," as she put it. And I was just like, oh wow. It's very interesting to get that opinion of someone else about me. But right from maybe say when I was 12, I started school here in Ireland. I was the only black person in the school. In the whole school, first black. And at that stage, when I came into the country, they said the age should be in primary school. And I'm like, I'm not going back to primary school for anything. Like, give me the exams. And if I do pass it, you have to place me in this class. And that was what I did. And they did place me in the class, And so it's coming to that background, and it's just me alone in the old school. That's a colored person in the school. It was a bit weird. Of course, racism was a thing back then. But I couldn't care less. It doesn't matter. I just always stood out, in what I do, and that's so. Then this thing of peer pressure or wanting to belong to a clique was just never there. So I would say from there, it was just me in class by myself first, and then you do get a few friends like that over, and till the school started opening up to more colored people, and then that's it. There's more people in the school, but that still didn't mean that I was just jumpy. I'm not a jumpy person. I'm just weird, if you want to put it that way. But yes, the most friendly person in the room. If you want to put it in that manner. So I don't belong to a clique, I don't belong to a group, but I can relate with everybody. And when it actually comes to letting people into my word, it's like you deserve to hold that spot in my word. So like you're there intentionally. It's not just a thing, or you just accidentally fell in and you're not staying, and you're not of any impact to me, and I'm not of any impact to you. So it's just not that we are gossip partners or stuff. We are there for empowering each other, and we're basically accountable to each other. So that's kind of like the words that I've built to myself. And obviously teenagers now, you go through all the ups and downs, changes and stuff. We've been through it all. So I had my own mishap, don't get me wrong, and that's taught me a lot actually, because from that is where I now stemmed off. Like a lot can happen when you're working with the wrong crowd, right? And you don't know it until it goes wrong. Is when you get that eye-opening moment that you've been associated with the wrong things, wrong mindset the whole time, that you fell into a ditch, So that's it.
Wow, okay. So how did you find your identity in the midst of all the chaos and all the things that life brought? As a woman?
As a woman.
Yeah.
Or as a lady?
As a lady, sorry. How did I find my identity? My identity would not be complete without associating it with Christ. Okay, so I, like I said, had my own little mishap as a young girl, and I call it mishap, but I don't like to term it mistake. It's not a mistake. The whole situation itself is not a mistake. It's a little detour in life to bring you back to actually where you should be, align you back to where you should be, and just open your eyes to see that, hey, you're heading down the wrong lane. Yeah, you need to come back. But that identity really started with God. So after the whole situation, I decided to just be separate by myself. I went to a whole town where I know nobody. Like I only knew one of my schoolmates that was studying in the same college, and I just went there, like no family there. She was the only person there, and that was it. And by myself, I just went, and I for me to get to that decision was like I was escaping from a status quo, if you want to put it that way. I didn't want to be identified with by my mistake. I didn't want my mistake
to be the first thing.
To be the first thing that you see, or the thing that has now, entrapped me and is now creating my identity. So I had to step away, and anybody that would be a constant reminder of that thing, it was like, that's it. Just, I don't want it around. Like, that has happened, and I'm trying to, move on with my life. I don't need it. I don't need the constant reminder. I don't need the constant, beat down on it. I just need to move over and just move on with it already. So that started, and God so having it, when I moved down, it took me a while to find a church, because I was intentional about that as well. Bible teaching church, not doctrineful, I should say. Well, I mean, it's hard to find such churches nowadays, I must say. But so the very first people who came to evangelize, actually, because I was in the college accommodation area, so they would come out and evangelize to students. So the very first church that came around to do that, I then joined that church, and then I became committed to that church, right? And attended the church throughout my stay in that town. I was there for 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. I was in the town for 5 years, and I wouldn't say that was the full turn for me. It was the beginning, right? And towards my end, like the end of my stay in that town, so I had moved there specifically because I wanted to go to college as well. So I went there and I started college was going fine and all this stuff. A few others here and there, man, there were breakdown moments. They were crying and wailing moments. I remember one day, the social welfare told me that I had to choose between getting money from the government and going to college. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. How do you make that, getting support from them or going to college? I'm like, you know what? If you're going to support. If you're not going to support, don't support. But college, I must go.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And how the fees were going to be paid or how everything was going to be sorted, I didn't know, but I made sure that I made it clear. If you're going to support. If you're not going to support, it's not going to stop me from going to school. And that day, I walked 1 hour. Where the office was and where the college was an hour walk away. But I did that 1 hour walk with crying and wailing and saying, God, what is this rubbish? And I didn't care who was looking at me on the streets. Like, they were probably looking at me. If you're driving past, you're like, who's this? What's going on there? Is she normal? But I did that crying walk, wailing walk, and just say, what is this? Can I get a break? I'm trying to move on, and every point there's this order one way or the other. But yeah, and thank God the people that you're surrounded with in such situations matters.
Yeah.
Matters. And I found myself in should I say relationship that you sometimes you're like, what were you thinking? Situationship, because you're now looking for someone to come and console you, someone that's there, and you just really realize that very quickly the only person that can give you that consolation sometimes is God.
Oh, that's beautiful. So based on what you just said, I noticed that there's a few characteristics that you have in your body. So like you're very courageous, very bold, very persistent, and consistent. So were you always like that, or was it a conscious decision that based on the mishap that happened, something has to change?
I was not always bold, right? Because I would be the last person to voice my opinion. In fact, I would say I'm a walkover friend, right? And
what does that mean?
Walkover friend means that I had friends that when they do stuff, I would allow them, right? I would allow them, just, I'll be the understanding one. I will try to see,
That's not beneficial.
Let's say the bigger one. You want to say I'm the bigger person, and you try to see, because my opinion about friendship is totally different. Right, it's totally different, and it might seem weird. Like I say, that's why you would say I'm a weird person, but it's totally different. I mean, if I consider you as a friend, and I've taken you as a friend, not acquaintances, because I've got many of them, but I have brought you into that world of friendship. I share like this personal relationship with you as a friend. See, it will take a lot for your shortcomings to now come to a place where I'm saying that you're no longer my friend, right? Because it's intentional. Yeah. It's an intentional relationship that I have with that person. So, and the very person that I considered my friend that time did some things, like, and I don't know if she'll be watching this, but I don't even think I've ever said it to her in person. Like, we were living in the house together, and I think I was looking for a food item that day in the house, and I asked her if she has, do you have this food? And she said no. And because we share the same house, and to be honest, we could wear the same clothes and stuff like that. So I just happened to go to our wardrobe to go pick up something and stuff like that. And I see food in the wardrobe, and in my head, I'm like, I just asked you, if you had food. So has it gotten so bad that we are now hiding food from each other? But like such things, I would consider as childish.
Yeah.
Right.
Was there build up before that?
What?
Was there build up before that?
There was no build up. It was just there's no build up. Yeah. So I was just like, why are you hiding food? And then like a few occurrences as well, like when she was going to finally move out of the house, because the house was primarily in my name, and I wasn't charging rent or anything. Of course, we were friends. When I first moved down,
Yeah.
she
Oh, wow.
helped me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, now I have this house. Like, you're my friend. I'm not going to, And then, from that moment, she was going to move out. It's like, you're not paying house rent, but we do share the bills, and there was a significant amount of bills, and to paying it was not an issue, up to the state that our parents got involved. I was just like, you know what, there is no, that's why I say I'm the walkover type of friend. When I say walkover, it's in that sense, so there's some rubbish that I don't take home, that I don't tolerate. Sorry, there are some things that don't pass the boundary, but there's situations like that it's money, and this life, money isn't everything. I know people will say money is everything.
I like that mindset.
Yeah, there are some things that you can. It's very trivial for us to be, punching blows and all this stuff about such. Like, you know what, it's fine. But yeah, so in that case, my maturity was just there, like, because I understood what it means to be a friend, like, and all of that. So that built me up much, like, in terms of my maturity, in terms of my courageous. It's just there's a friend as well I had in college, and he would always say to me that you are a person that doesn't take no for an answer. You're a girl. Like, I wrote Susie how many times in my life?
That was should have been
Oh
me.
my god.
No, it's your friends as well.
Oh my god. And persistently they were saying no. But persistently I was determined. In fact, often at times I'm convinced that I should have studied law. I will go and read their own rules and quote their own rules back to them and say, you said this, I meet this condition, until eventually they agreed, and even backdated to the point where I started the application the year I started. So, like, taking no for an answer, I just don't do it. If it's something that I know that's no, why would you tell me no in this situation? But if it's let's go, you can't win this one, I would just let it go. And then with the mindset of going to church and not just attending a church, but wanting that relationship, wanting to grow, wanting to have something of substance, right? It also then leads into the persistence and being consistent and stuff like that, right? There were people that I admire, just the way you say you admire me, and I'm like, God, if this person can do this thing, they don't have 2 heads. I convert the grace on this person's life. I want the same measure of grace, if not even more. I want it, but you have to be careful what you wish for, right? Because the moment you open your mouth to say that, you collect left and right, and then at that point you're like, you're the one who asks for it though. So you have to be able to just deal with it at that stage.
All these qualities have built you up into the person you are now, and obviously we know Sister Mary we call her Sister Mary because obviously growing up in Africa, everyone knows your sister, or your brother, or your auntie, or your uncle. But we know you in a personal setting, so we know you to where she's the one person I know that wears like many hats. So many various leadership roles. She's a business owner. She's a wife. She's a mother, which is a huge job in itself. So with these wearing hats, you mentioned previously that you said that when you see something and you want to, there's going to be like work involved. Yeah. Would you know how to say no when it gets too much, or is it because you have God at the end goal that everything you do is to serve Him? So. Is there a balance?
I am
balance
learning.
Boundaries.
There is balance. There has to be balance, unless you will get burnt out, right? Yeah. And at that point, when you're burnt out, you're no use to yourself or to anyone else. And I will always say something suffers at that point. Yeah. Right. But in order for nothing to suffer, you have to be able to set processes in way, and be able to say no sometimes. I am very much learning how to say no. and I say that in the sense of, when I say no, it's not just an outright no, right? Not because I'm able to do this thing, but I don't want to do it because I have too much on. I can say no with no obligations, right? So if you come to me and you say, oh, I'm trying to do this and that, I know you can help me with this and that, I would give you the steps, 1, 2, 3, but I wouldn't commit to doing it for you. Okay? Right? But I would leave the open space of, if you have any questions, check back with me, and I will help here and there. But if I cannot commit to helping fully, that's my way of saying, okay, I can give you this and you can go work off on it, and if you have anything, come back to me. And because, yes, like I said, something will suffer for it. And do you want your home to suffer? Absolutely not. Do you want your business to suffer? Business can even take a hit. In my own word, sometimes it's okay for the business to, if you're you're self-employed and you're the one who owns the business, and you're able to, you have that flexibility, so you're able to control the timing and everything around that. That works well as well. I mean, and there's church and the roles that I play in the church. Sometimes I get tired, and you want to take a step back, but if it's just a moment of rest, right? It's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not a moment of giving up, right? It's not a moment of saying, what is this if I'm not doing it again? Do you get what I mean? And sometimes you also have to be able to identify when your role in something is done, right? And it's okay for you to hand over to the next person, because you've built a process that works, and anybody that is able to coming to take that role is able to also, take it out. So you just have to be able, you just have to identify that, so that you're not clinging on to everything and think that you're, they say jacks of all trades, master of none. I challenge myself and say jack of all trades and master of all. Master of all, be able to say, I've done this, somebody else can take it from there and they will do it well. In fact, do it better and take it to a better place than where I started, because that's the whole point, right? If not, one person will be in charge of everything and nobody else will be growing. And if you're doing that, you're not a leader.
Planting miniature versions of yourself.
You're not a leader at that stage.
That's a good one. So I know we're still in the month of International Women's Month, and I think it's civil engineering.
Civil engineering.
And apart from civil engineering, she is a businesswoman, y'all. Make events planner. If you've ever seen any weddings or events in Ireland, most likely.
She did my birthday surprise.
This Mary would have seen her handiwork in it. Can I just ask how you got into that? Because I know you're a leader. I don't know if it's a natural born thing or something that you've learned due to just all what life has happened. But how did you get into that role? And because that's event planning is leadership and organization are the first two things.
And then doing it so perfect.
Balancing your your master.
Masters,
mother, everything, how.
That one, the story is very long. But oh my God, so event planning, obviously, planning is something that I do in church. And in general, you plan for your life, right? You plan things. I decided to turn it into a business in 2020. That was during COVID. And then 2021, actually, we had the first make event wedding with my sister, actually. So it was an honor to be the one to plan a wedding. And so I said, okay, let's do this and make it the first. And so, as the scripture says, which one of you wants to build a house and you do not count your cost first? When I wanted to start to make events, I was like, okay, I do this thing, but there are other people who do it professionally, and there's business plans for it. There's professional structure to it as well. And funniest thing is, I went online, researched, research. I wanted to actually do like a shadow with a fellow business, event planning business thing, but it didn't happen because I just had a baby. So I learned online, connected with a group out in America, did many like courses there and all of that. And then I then asked myself, is this just a money generating business? Or is there a reason why, you want to go into this, old world? Or are you looking for that flexibility? Is this something that you plan to retire to, take off the 9 to 5, and then this become your full time? I had the thoughts around that, and I just said to myself, I'm starting wedding planning not because of money. Money is good, yes, but I'm starting it because there is a reason why God will have me do it now. As to how long it's going to go, I'm not sure, and I'm not so pretty to. For me, I've learned again, there is a time and season for everything. Right, okay, and it's not everything that you will carry all through your lifespan. That some things that you pick up and you drop on the way, and something stays with you permanently. So if this is what it is, but I also wanted to make sure that my personality and my word that I'm coming from, like I'm able to pour it out there. For example, so many of my couples don't even know that, like, I would pray for you in my own place, not wanting any bad news from your wedding. I don't want to be involved in your marriage planning and everything, and few days down the line it's finished, and that's it. So like it's more personal to me than the business side of things. And to be honest, every year God has been faithful, and the weddings that I do get there, the events I do get, I should say, are peculiar as well. It's not everything that's, it's not every business, not every money is your own, not every client is your own, do you, like, not everything comes to me. So like for me, if it stays, then it's meant to. If it doesn't stay, then it's not meant to. And so I've not gotten attached to the money for me to say, okay, I'm driving because of the money and stuff like that. And you may say it's because I have a 9 to 5 job or something that is sustaining me, but the truth of the matter is more because of the purpose of where it started from and why I'm in it, and at any point where I hear the word drop it, it's done now. I want to be able to drop it and it's done, and it's not the money that I'm now after. If you get me. So yeah, that's
does make stand for anything, or is it?
Yes.
Story.
See, it's good though. It's good. I always say, right, surround yourself with people of great minds, great people. When the business was about to start, of course now I'll call my sister. If you're my friend, you're my sister. Okay, we are family, that's where I sit. Called them and said, I'm about to start this thing. And one of them was like, wouldn't it be cool? Mary Abiola Kingsley Emekobum, or Mary Ann Kingsley Emekobum. So like you said, any which way is a win-win. Your names are embedded in the business. I want you to say it. I was like, smart girl. I was like, that's good. And no thinker, she said it, and I took it away. I was like, I can't shake it. I can't find any other name more suitable, than that. And well done, girl. You know yourself. You know who you are. So she gave me that, and then I said, it's good now, and then slogan now, where we, making things happen, making your reality becomes, happen, bringing your experiences to life. So everything just worked. I was like, there you go. So sometimes it's not you that will come up with your business name, the people around you that will help you.
That's why the people, who's Kingsley?
Oh, sorry. Kingsley is my Odogu Parara. So it is He's my husband, by God's grace. Yes, that's who he is. So we decided that it's a cute thing to do, and then so that's we just went with that then.
So, I know there's always a question. I know Steve Harvey was Think Like a Woman, but I know there's always the question of like can women have it all? So I know, like, obviously, the day and age, I think it's very much so. But like, how would you go about like balancing? Because you have a lot on your plate. Like, just for like, how do you balance? And then can you give advice to the women out here? Can we have it all?
Men have it all? Oh,
That's good.
Can anyone have it?
And that's the key. You know, what do you mean by all? That's why we're going to be going to the next.
If you go to Proverbs 31, right, this scripture describes a woman. Like a woman who wakes up in the morning, does this, does that. Why she's yet doing this, she's yet doing that. She's yet, like, that scripture talks of a woman who is, all around, empowered and strengthened, and she does it so well as well. I'm no shades to the guys. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I don't see the reason why you cannot. You cannot have it all. You cannot you cannot excel in everything that you do. If you're doing something that is not look at it this way, right? A man implants in you, and you birth a life. You birth life, basically, right? And that's the way it should be. That anything that you're laying your hands on should birth life, should work, should, there should be something from it.
Yeah.
There should be substance from it. There should be value from it. So to say that, can you have it all? Well, not everything is your own. I will say that, right? Not everything. So don't go now saying I can be a baba. I can be no. Not everything is for you. But the things that do come your way, that are yours, oh yes, you can. Raise processes in way, put procedures in way. In fact, say behind every successful man is a what? Is a woman. Do you have any successful woman? Is a what?
Good man.
That's a very supporting husband. An empowering husband. It is an empowering husband. Because if a man doesn't let you be who you are, then what are you doing? Well, what is it? You can't accomplish anything there together. Yeah. Maybe when you go your separate ways, you'll be able to accomplish all that you think of. But if he can't let you be who you are, who you've been created to be, to do the things that you are so eager to do even before you stepped into that marriage, if someone is going to quench your lights and dim your existence, don't touch it, because it's not going to help either of you. And it will always be a constant contention. Pastor Iren once said, I was looking at one of his Instagram messages. It said, if my wife became the president, that he will become the first man, first gentleman. Like, what are you waiting for? And it's we had a discussion about it recently. Pardon?
What do you think about that?
What do I think about it? We had a discussion about it very recently, and some people was like, the fact that she's becoming first lady and I am the first man. Somebody was like, oh, it means I will have to do the cooking, I will have to do this. And somebody else said, if your wife is the president and you're the first gentleman, you don't need cocoa. Everything will be done for you. But it's just that mentality of you're not clipping her wings, you're not letting her fly, you're not letting her be a person, and you get intimidated if by any chance she's even, ahead of you and stuff like that, that it becomes now unsupportive.
Yeah.
Did you really love that person though?
Exactly. And whoever said that the lady is supposed to be less to the man. We were all created equally. He said he created them male and female, and he looked at them and said everything that he created was good. There is no God did not make us unequal. is to be unequal to each other. He didn't say, and anyway, when he qualifies us all together, he qualifies us together in the same terms, with the same calling, with the same, names. So, like, who said that one had to be more and one had to be less, but you, in all things, if you have children, you have family, you want to make sure that nobody is suffering from it. So, that and sometimes like that, you may have to take some compromise around, okay, I'm more flexible in my job, so I can bring my flexibility to the table so that you can, go on, or he's more flexible, then he can bring his flexibility to the table and I can pursue this.
It's all about filling each other's cup up, balancing it out.
Yeah.
Actually, basically, yeah. So I'm just going to go around and ask in honor of Women's Month, one advice that we'd like to give to the women watching us out there. Starting off with Faith.
Where do you start with me? Oh my god. One advice I would like to give to women during International Women's Month. I think I always say this, but just be yourself and be you. I'll say there's a lot of like trends now, and I remember there's actually the office siren thing that's going on TikTok. So basically, let's talk about this. So basically, there's a trend. There was like a clothing trend on TikTok called office siren, and it would be girls wearing like really short skirts and like the shirts.
Office siren.
Yeah, office siren, and like. You guys can sit your off there. But it's like really short skirts and like the little kitten heels and like like the the shirt. If you watch a movie, it's supposed to be like a flirtatious girl in the office, like a secretary. Those type of outfits, basically.
Oh, okay.
So now there was a trend of that, like girls dressing up as like office sirens and like corporate girlies and stuff like that. And then one particular girl, she started a new job. It was like 6 figures in America. You know how people just be earning money anyhow. And then she decided to wear the office siren trend to the office.
Interesting.
And then I think 2 or 3 times after, they sat her down and was like, babe, this is not the type of attire you should be wearing to the office. Yeah. And then she was like, well, I'm just following like a trend. This is what I saw live. Mm-hmm. She still came in the next day with a similar outfit. Wow. They now, took their job off her back and said, you can wear this outside. Yeah. And then she went on TikTok and was complaining that like, what is it? They weren't letting me be myself or follow these trends and stuff like that. But a lot of people are saying that like this is not the norm for corporate wear. It's just the social media trends that we're following that got you to. It was the video that I watched anyway. There's a girl talking about it, but she was saying it's these social media trends that are showing a certain type of lifestyle that is not real for everybody to follow. That's why I just want to say like that girl now has lost. She was an intern or something. She was like new to the corporate world. You're in 6 figures. Like you've lost an opportunity like that because you didn't want to be yourself in a certain way. You wanted to follow what you saw out there, and I personally think that's an issue that's going on. So I just say, just be yourself. Have your own morals, your own moral compass, and like what you believe in, and your beliefs. It's really important because you don't want to be in a situation like that. And you also, the people you are following, you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. You don't know how that's affecting them. And also everyone is kind of different. It's good to have influences in your life, but I'm always on a person like pick and choose what the influences you want from those people's lives. You can, so many role models out there, so many people you can look up to, but just don't idolize people. Don't put people on a pedestal and follow every single thing they go through, because you're still yourself. God created you. As what Christians here, God created you, your own image of yourself, but He also gave you these role models to look up to, pick and choose. But yeah, that's my own kind of advice for International Women's Day.
Nice.
I suppose mine was stem off yours, and it's find your identity. Okay, find your own intentional design, and thrive in it. Thrive in it. Don't thrive in somebody else's purpose. Don't thrive in somebody else's identity. Don't leave your own stuff behind and pursue somebody else's stuff, because at the end of the day, when you are done on earth, the question is, was your leaving in vain? Right? Did you accomplish all that you were here to accomplish? So yeah, find your identity and thrive in it.
Perfect.
I'm just trying to think of mine, but the only thing that's coming to my head is having a structure. How important it is to have a structure and a system in place, especially like when you're getting to a stage in your life where there's different opportunities are coming to you to do certain things, and it's easy to say yes to everything. And you can say yes to everything, but it's a fact of how well are you doing this? Is it just to just take it off and be like, oh yes, da da da, but just have a structure in place that, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be and this is what I'm supposed to do in this season that I'm in. So it also comes with discerning times and seasons that you know, okay, in this particular season, this is the structure I have to follow for my betterment. So even when people see me, they know me for something. I'm just known for any and anything, but I'm known for a particular thing, which relates to my purpose. So yeah, I say that's mine.
Thank you. Mine, I had the phrase came up in my head when Sister Mary started talking about her how she be classed as the weird one. To be honest, like what's normal? Like, I mean, actually get what's the definition of normal? Because it's not normal in this life. Well, it just came to me. I always hear it, like it always sounds corny, but it says why blend in when you're born to stand out. Like there's times like there's even like a TikTok I saw like yesterday 2 days ago and it was like some people are just like meant to be rich, like some people are meant to have money.
Yes.
In the same way, like you just can't blend in. When especially if God has put that like kind of grace and light and calling over your life, that anything you do, you're gonna like stick out like as a sore thumb in some spaces that you try to force yourself into. So the sooner you realize that, okay, I'm actually my own person, I'm not what this group says, I'm not what today's trend says, and you find out for yourself what your purpose is, and you figure out your structure as you were saying, and you learn to be you. The sooner you be walking in your purpose, the main one that God has called you, not the like full one that you've set for yourself. So don't try to blend in spaces.
So
you want to stand up.
Yeah. Okay. So
Can I add something quickly?
enough.
Sorry, I always do this. Just like as you're doing all of this, just make sure you're working hard as well. It's not like stuff don't just come.
Self girl.
Self-life, all of that, it's nice sometimes, but there's places we want to be, there's stuff we have to do, there's purposes we have to fulfill, and to do all of that, hard work comes into play. So make sure you're working hard, because those stuff doesn't come easy, and me anyway, I have expensive taste, and I know for that expensive taste I have to, and I don't want to sell myself for a certain taste, so I have to, I have to work hard for it. And also I feel like there's more pride in when you work for something.
It's more
so just make sure you work hard, and I feel like we're all gonna get to where we want to be. Anyway, listening.
So just the last question to you. So what would you say, or what is something that you wish someone told you when you were younger that you wouldn't like? Something you would have loved to hear.
Okay. It's so weird. There's a song that I always use for this, right? And it's when I see your face, there's another thing that I could change. You're amazing, just the way you are. Yeah, because like
put the song somewhere.
Some people will always say that do you know you're a fine girl? But I don't know for you, I don't see what you people are seeing, and I want to thank God that I was not blinded with the beauty or you had a great shape or stuff like that to do this, because I think just yesterday as I was dressing up to come to church, actually, I looked at myself and said, God really did a good one for you, right?
Just yesterday.
And just yesterday, and I was like, I just said to myself, Mary, if you had all those figure eight, some eves, oh my God, you'd be a bad girl.
I used to always
because God really knows why He gives some people their body. Because I don't think
I
that.
know if I had a figure.
you be when
God
you
knows
want
that.
to
He
just
knew he
know.
was serious.
No, so and yeah, you are amazing, just the way you are. You are created like the way you are for a purpose. There is no two of you. There's just you. Nobody else can be like you. And you don't even try to be like somebody else. Okay, and that would sort a lot out in one's head. You know, just knowing that, look, and like you said now, and one of our pastors always says, putting a round peg in a square hole doesn't fit. So, like, don't do it. So, yeah, I think that is something that, you know, I would have appreciated. That would just, you know, stick with me to say, you know what, you are amazing. Because when I also started my Christianity journey as well, shout out to the natural sisters out there. When I was about to start it was one of, you know, our my big sis from the church that actually started her own trend on Facebook. It was not a Christian thing or anything. She was just exploring, you know, what you can do with African hair and not being relaxed and stuff like that. And that's how I saw that video, and I said, okay, I like to just, you know, not relax my hair. And relaxer and me, and anyway, we're always enemy. 5 minutes under, like under it, my head is like, it's like burning. So I was just like, okay, there's no harm. Try this new thing, you know. And I tried it, and then later when I got to find out that some of my sisters had become natural hair as well, and where their hairs was a bit more spiritually driven. And you know, not wearing earrings, not wearing trousers, not wearing skirts. At the point, I was like, that's a bit too much for me. But you know, the natural hair, I wanted to just, you know, explore that, you know, and then not making yourself feel like, if you're not doing that, you're not normal. You know why? That's the posture a Christian should take now, is that you're not wearing trousers, you're not wearing this, you're not doing that, everything is just pure out natural. My dear, Christianity is, you know, each one of us facing God like this. You know, what is good for A might not be good for you. You know, what God permits for A, it might not permit for you. And His reasons are best known to Him. That's why He didn't create all of us the same skin, the same height or anything. All indifferent, but yet in His image. So that's one statement would mean a lot to me and to any person out there right now. You are amazing, just the way you are.
That was beautiful. Let's go.
She had that song rendition too. So now we have come to the end of an amazing time. Like, I could go another hour again, but that's
an hour already.
Possibly, yeah. But it was an amazing episode, and thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you.
I'm sure, as blessed as we are, the viewers out there and the listeners out there are 10 times more blessed. Obviously, as we love to do, we love to plug people. So, Make Events, you are on Instagram, any other social platforms?
I believe I'm on TikTok.
TikTok.
I'm actually Facebook as well. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not so.
Well, add it in the caption below, and obviously for ourselves as well, we're available for listening and viewing YouTube and Spotify. We have a TikTok. Most of our notifications and everything goes through our Instagram. So follow our Instagram and let us know if you have anyone you'd like to see us feature next, or any topics you'd like us to talk about. So that has been us at the Lead League. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, repost, love, share, comment, subscribe.
Tell your brother, tell your mom, tell your sister.
Tell your brother, tell your mom, tell your woman. And tell a woman this month that you love her and send her some money. Till next time.
Bye.